of the most important driving reviews is starting right now. I have both keys here to the all-new BMW iX3, the electric X3 in the new generation BMW Neue Klasse, completely new platform. Woo! Crazy, have you felt that? How are they doing that? And rarely can I say that a review is not only about the car itself, but about the whole brand, the future of BMW, and maybe also the future of the German automotive industry. Because with this vehicle here, BMW is saying, we are back. The German automotive industry has taken such a beating in the recent years. You were late to the EV game, you messed up the recent interiors, you messed up the design on the exterior, and so on and so on. And the criticism was partly right. And I was also part of it. And now BMW says, we are back. We want to join the EV party now even more with these vehicles here. And we have it in two versions, M Sport Pro and M Sport, and also two different interior versions to show you all the variety. We'll test the driving with the efficiency, what is the real concise, real world range, and so on. Everything you need to know about this super crucial vehicle with Thomas and Autogefuehl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. Got the key fobs here in my hand always, that I can always open and close the vehicle to get you this illuminated double kidney in the front. We can see this is the new Neue Klasse face. Neue Klasse refers to, translated, new class. They did that in the 70s, and they had this rather small but vertical double kidneys because they also took your feedback. Sometimes the double kidney just got too large, and then they said we go back to the retro style again. Mercedes is also doing that now with the GLC EQ, with the direct competitor, and making it a little bit more understatement, because German design has always been about understatement as well. This vehicle is equipped with the M Sport package. That means you have a different graphic here, for example, in black. There's also an air curtain and then black insert here. The base version would look a little bit less sporty, so to speak. Doesn't make the largest difference, and also interesting, it doesn't make any efficiency difference in the CD value, which is at 0.24. Excellent for an electric SUV indeed, and also way better than the X3 combustion engine and plug-in hybrid and so on. This one is at 0.27, and here the lower the better indeed. You can get to 0.25 with the larger wheels. I'll soon explain you all about that. Then interesting is here with the double kidney, here, this is the, let's say, the normal look. You can see the outline even when it's off. And then when I here illuminated it, you can see the illuminated kidney. This is an option. You don't have to go for it. And even if you picked one, you could also deactivate it depending on your liking. And you can see there's a black mask here in the front. And now when we switch over to the M Sport Package Pro, we have some differences. Here, for example, the mirror caps are in black. We have red brake calipers here at the side. Soon more about the wheels and so on. And in the front, when the vehicle is off, you don't see this white outline. So here you can see it's all the way in black in this double kidney. However, when I then turn on the illumination, the difference is not that large anymore. However, you can see it's a little bit darker because the outline here is black, and that's why the middle lighting here is a little bit drawn back, a little bit more subtle, so to speak. Yeah, which one you prefer is totally up to you. In the M Sport Pro, the illuminated double kidney is included in the price already. I'll soon also make an extended piece about all the pricing, because I can tell you already so far, the pricing is very attractive for what you get, also battery size and so on. If you compare it to a normal X3 or plug-in hybrid, you can almost get the same price if you take the same equipment. And that is even interesting, or maybe sometimes even cheaper. That's very interesting indeed. Our colors here for today, by the way, this is here polarized gray, has like a blue nuance to it. And this one here is the space silver, looks also pretty cool. In the side profile here, we have 21-inch wheels on both vehicles. Here, as I said, the red brake calipers for the M Sport Package Pro, 21-inch, and you would start with 20-inch wheels and you would go up to 22-inch. And now comes the very interesting part, the width, because that is crucial for the rolling resistance and also then ultimately for the CD value even. So in the front, you always get 255mm tires. Always, no matter which size you pick. but the rear does change. In the 20-inch wheels is also 255 in the rear. 21-inch wheels are both available with 255 in the rear, but also with the wider 275. These here are the same, like not the mixed tires. But 21, you really have to look in the configurator if you go for the mixed wheels or not. And then you can also pick aero wheels. We'll soon show you to you in the other vehicle. They are also actually good. And then the 22-inch wheels, they would always have the wider tires in the rear. So the best actually would be to pick the small tires in the rear for the best overall efficiency result. And then, this is the other key fob. I can also show you like the illumination here in the rear. Let's open the car once again. It's a cool light show here with the red. That looks really striking, right? So I really love it in the rear design. Very widely drawn. And here again, we also have a little contrast with the M Sport Package Pro, because here we have it in dark in the lower part, whereas here, this is the normal M Sport package without the Pro, you do not have the black contrast in the lower part. And I'm more a fan of this. Yeah, tell me in the comments what do you think. And by the way, here in the side profile, also 21-inch wheels, but these are the aero wheels. Maybe not my favorite from the looks. So honestly, I would probably stick with the 20-inch wheels, because they give you the best riding comfort. At the same time, they also give you, among the best efficiency, the aero wheels will also be efficient. So you can also, it's really funny, you could pick the configurator, the wheels, and then the average consumption always changes and you can check it out. But yeah, the biggest difference will be between the 22 and the 20, for example, or the 21 aero wheels, very interesting. Talking about comfort and suspension, so far it starts with a normal base suspension. But I can tell you, it's actually a very good one. Soon more to that in driving. We do expect an adaptive suspension as an option at a later stage. Or maybe if you watch this video here also at a later stage, then it's maybe already available, but it will not be available from the start. However, we've already driven this vehicle and we found it very good in the driving, although it does not start with the adaptive suspension. That's actually a very interesting thing to know. And then about the length here. You can see it, it is at 4.78 meters or 188 inches. Slightly longer than the combustion engine X3, but still, yeah, probably the same in the segment here, definitely. And you can see the wheel arches, really clean, monolithic design, no contrasting wheel arches and so on. So tell me, what do you think about the design? Would you go for a base version? You can check it out also in the configurator, M Sport or M Sport Package Pro. And now it's time to talk about the hard facts: battery, charging and power. So it starts with the normal all-wheel drive version, the iX3 50. So one electric motor in the rear, which is the stronger one electric motor in the front. 4.9 seconds in the acceleration figure, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour, and it's around 470 horsepower. Later we expect also rear-wheel drive only versions as an entry, and also more all-wheel drive versions like the true M version, the iX3M, expect to have over 1000 horsepower. This will be also very exciting indeed. And then also about the entry-level rear-wheel drive version, we also expect a smaller battery. My guess would be 80-something kilowatt hours, but here the big battery, which will be so far also the hot or best seller, because especially with this vehicle, everyone wants to go for the range. Sometimes I have to activate then the kidneys again, that they look a little bit cooler. So this one here at 108.7 kilowatt hours. So you can almost basically say round it up to 109 kilowatt hours. And that is the net battery size. And it's, considering the price of the vehicle, a very large battery. And together with the great CD value, they give you a WLTP range figure of over 800 kilometers. That's very impressive. What the real concise driving range is, we'll test it today. Here in Spain, we go also on the motorway, like, you know, even terrain, 120 kilometers an hour, like 70 miles an hour, and can tell you our first experience about that. Really looking forward to that one. But it seems to be, from all the facts and figures and what we see from the build quality and from our first driving experience, that this will be indeed a very crucial vehicle, not only for BMW, but even for the whole industry. And gotta bear in mind that this one here will also pave the way for the BMW 3 Series electric for the all-new BMW i3 that will be coming up soon. We will keep you updated with that, and it will use the same platform. One difference is this one is built in Hungary and the i3 will be built in Munich. The US market will receive this one here by mid-2026 and the Chinese market a little bit later in 2026, then with a special longer version, like a longer wheelbase version, and also some infotainment adaptations for the Chinese market.
Hi, best greetings from me, Leah. Please remember to subscribe.
And about charging, this is here supposed to be an intelligent charging flap, so that most of the time you do not have to press it, but when you stop at the charging station and walk around the vehicle will recognize, probably Tom is going to charge now, from like how he's moving with the key in his pocket, and we're at the charging station and so on, and then it will open automatically. Other than that, you can also press here. It's an electric charging flap. There we go. And then it opens like this, and AC charging 11 or 22 kilowatt later available, and DC charging peak is 400 kilowatt. And you can also close it again, but it's supposed to do that automatically, as I said. And it's about 21 minutes from 10 to 80% state of charge with this 800 volt architecture, but it also can easily take 400 volt charging stations. So also good in these charging figures. Then let's check out the frunk. I pulled it twice so I don't have to do another unlock here. And then we have a nice logo here on the top. So love that attention to detail, and separate. There we go. It's not too small, actually fits a charging cable or maybe something else like this. Yeah, but my favorite is definitely here, this proper BMW logo here on the top. And now to the exciting interior, and we will show you two different versions and show you the differences. This will be super exciting, I can promise. Here, first of all, these are the flush door handles that come out when you are closer to the vehicle then. And then they don't move really. So I'm more a fan of the physical door handles, the classic ones, and they have also proven to be a little bit safer. So this year, this will go away again. And the background story about it is that the manufacturers, especially German ones, they did some investigation on the Chinese market, and on the Chinese market there was like a huge push that the customers all wanted these flush door handles. And so they had to react, okay, if we want to sell in China, we have to put the new cars with the flush door handles. Now, strangely or funnily, the impulse comes from China again, because there they had crash accident problems with flush door handles. And then, I think from next year or something, or 2027 so on, they make it like forbidden again to use these flush door handles, and then all manufacturers will go back again for real classic door handles. Yeah, that's the thing, how it sometimes goes in the automotive industry. However, all the manufacturers say, at least the German ones we've talked to, that they say they automatically go out in case of a crash. That's of course very important. Then inside of the doors. First of all here, it's here like a structure, soft touch here as well. This is one color scheme. You don't have to go for this one. You can also go plain black or bright. So different color schemes are available. Also soft here for your elbow. And then in contrast to the X3 combustion engine, there's a completely different pad here. Also nicely done here with this galvanization for the individual windows. This is one button here. Fold in the windows, the side mirrors, for example. Fold in the windows, also funny, right? And then here you can also easily adjust them, but it's straightforward. And here you can also open then the trunk if you hold it. Lower part here, I would wish for some fabric on the inside. This is still hard pack. And then we have here the M entry badge. This is here M Sport package without the Pro. The Pro will come soon. This is also the sport steering wheel. There is here then some perforation at the side. The base steering wheel would also have two spokes here and here, but a little bit slimmer. Then here the sport steering wheel has these wider spokes, sportier design, and as I said, the perforation, and really nice to grip here in. And soon I'll show you the completely round steering wheel in the other vehicle. And then here you can see you have this so-called ShyTech. So these buttons will only illuminate when you can really use them. I'm not the biggest fan of these buttons because they're also capacitive, hashtag capacitive BS. However, they are illuminated, and sometimes it's, let's say, easy for the parking function, for example, that you only have to hit one button and then the automated parking starts. So that is a cool thing about that. By the way, here they use some fabric, and then you can see the ambient lighting shine through from the back, and here on the dashboards also soft touch. So far we see a good build quality. These here are the comfort seats, or multifunctional seats as they call them. You get them in fabric in the base version, depending on the market. Probably won't be available in the US. And then here, this is the Veganza, this is the high-grade leatherette, animal-free material. And you can see it's extremely soft. It's perforated and plush, high seating depth, Einsitzhöhe as we say in German. And if you would go for the M Sport package in standard equipment, you would get them in black and also with some microfiber accentuation, and here in the top shoulder part. So it's worthwhile to take a look at the configurator there. And what BMW doing is here, you know, I was always advocating for animal-free seats, you know, to have an animal-friendly solution, at the same time good comfort. And there are, of course, always skeptics and say, I might lose something. I might lose comfort, or they're maybe not as durable and so on. And what BMW is doing here is try to convince the customer, saying, hey, we have the more animal-friendly and sustainable solution here, but at the same time, we will make it more comfortable and more durable than the animal material. And this is working very well here. And I think this is the way to go to convince also those who might be a little bit skeptic about these things. And they are extremely comfortable and really, really soft. And no one could tell that it's not like a 7,000 euros you know, extra animal leather option or something like that. This is even softer actually. So this is really going full circle to convince also customers who are maybe, you know, not accustomed to these materials. This is really very well done, and we'll soon compare the other M Sport seat to that. Headroom here, let's say here to the side, 189, 6 for 2. Some headroom left, no problem as for that. Then this here, a fixed panoramic roof. You can either go for closed roof or optional, this glass roof. It is fixed, you cannot open it. And there is like an automatic filter in the glass that it doesn't get that hot here on the interior. You cannot change it or something like that. Yeah, it protects, you know, with this automatic layer inside. However, I'm probably more a fan of a fixed roof because this one will still get a little bit hotter, like in very, very hot states. But we can also test it then in hot summertime for you. Steering wheel, by the way, manual, in and out, up and down. And I think it's an easy solution to make it manual because you can quickly adjust that also to your wishes. Yeah, so the main thing is really the excellent comfort. At this moment here, from the ergonomics, BMW is indeed leading in the seating comfort. But will it be also the same in the other vehicle? We'll soon find out. Now to the M Sport Pro interior. Here, once again, you can see here with the flush door handles. I mean, yeah, looks spectacular, but not necessary, honestly. Also illumination there on the side, and the door closing sounds, we forgot that. Yeah. It's interesting. I found actually it was better with this vehicle here. Let me just check it again. Right. Not sure if it was this actually better with this one than with this one. So the door closing sound, not the best one I've heard, honestly. Then let's check it out. Here, the inside of the doors, we have some microfiber insert here. That's also beautifully done, and all the way in black if you rather want it unicolor, so to speak. So that's cool. And then we have here same entry badge for the M Sport Pro, and these are the M Sport seats. So they look, of course, really amazing. I love the look. This one, by the way, here, it is like an integrated head restraint, but, oh, even with illumination here, M logo, but you can also move it up and down from the screen. So it is, you know, you can make this head restraint a little bit higher. This is the highest position at the moment, where I can see, as you can see here at the passenger seat, that is the lowest position at this moment. And then you also, once again, have the perforated high-grade leatherette Veganza, really nice and plush. And then you have the microfiber insert at the side. Main difference is here, first of all, you have this one here, so the enlengthenment in the lower area. And you can also see this is sportier, so you have more accentuation here. This is also tighter, and also here more shoulder accentuation. But the question is it better, same or worse comfort? It is indeed very different. So the differences are as follows. Here you have more shoulder support in the upper area. However, the comfort seat is also quite wide there. So this is, I think, both is nice. From the backrest, it's both nice. Then this is definitely tighter. So that might be a problem if you have like wide size and so on. It depends what you like. If you want it a little bit closer, but for me, I feel it's a little bit better when it's more open. Then here, of course, you have the advantage that you can make this one here longer for the legs. That's actually a quite cool thing. However, they are, maybe a little bit tighter, the seats. So I feel that both are very good and very comfortable, but yeah, it's a tough question. I like both, but I think for the best comfort, I would stick with the comfort or multifunctional seats. I gotta see it in driving, but I think they are a little bit softer. That would be the main thing. You can easily go with both, but I think best comfort then with the other ones. This one here, however, best look. And then the other interior difference, the main difference, soon more to that. This is here the M Sport steering wheel, which is then more classic in the styling. And also here, you don't have the vertical spokes, but they are then rather here, and once again with the perforation at the side. And now more to this cockpit here. First of all, the steering wheel, here the M Sport. If you want the more classic styling, you would go with this one here. And then the perforations at the side. And it's really soft, both here, 12 o'clock marking, and also the perforation. And here, this grip in here, this actually makes people use the 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position. That's a good thing, actually, and it really feels nice to have here like a very good handle in that one. So honestly, I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of the steering wheel designs and not of the capacitive buttons. However, this, like how you handle it here with the thumbs, this is amazing. And also the material is one of the best so far, in the industry. And now comes the interesting part. They did some tests because so far BMW offered animal-free steering wheels, but never in the M Sport trim. Now they said like, hey, let's do the test. We invite some, like all the workers we have here, and make like an internal clinic and put different materials. And then we ask them, can you feel a difference? Which is animal material and which is like the new modern material? And no one could tell a difference, or maybe said like, oh, this is like the very high class, extra price animal skin equipment, but it's not. So here, once again, they make this logic circle and also convince skeptical people. And I'm also one of the skeptics when it comes to new stuff in vehicles, to make it really like a better experience and animal-free at the same time. And this is a really great thing. So everyone who is not convinced of that one yet, try it out, feel it, drive with it, and I can promise you will be convinced. And then here, one of the most special things here is this panoramic vision. It goes all the way through. It's standard. You always have that from left to right. So on the one hand, you don't need a head-up display. You can, this is one has the option head-up display, like it's this additional box here. But it is already far away in the long focus here. There will also be the speed, so you do not need the head-up display, but you can get one. And in the middle part, you can have different information, what you want to have. There can also be GPS information in there. But if you, for example, don't like it, you can also make it drawn back and say like, hey, I don't want anything on the right. I can soon show that to you. Then we have, as the front layer, this display. Why did they do it in that way? Because here it is easily accessible. Like here you have your hand here on the steering wheel, and then you want to do something and you can easily change the temperature. I said, I'm a friend of physical dials, and I also told BMW that we actually wanted that. But here they have the digital solution, and it is, for a digital solution, easily accessible, and you can easily switch between steering wheel and temperature. This is the sense of that, bringing the screen closer to you, but then again, information in your long focus, make it far away, that your eyes can keep long focused. I can understand this strategy. And here is also heated steering wheel available. It's an option. Heated seats, for example. Cooled seats are not available yet. I also asked BMW for that because the X3 combustion, plug-in, diesel, petrol and so on has that. This one not yet. So I was asking BMW, hey, if you offer that for the combustion engine version, you also gotta offer that in the electric version. And they told me, that's like the most current answer now, that they are looking into that. Because like cooled seats, it has a low take rate so far, but it's one of these features that is really emerging at this moment, because when you once had a cooled seat in hot summertime, you're never going back. These seats, however, are also perforate, so have like passive cooling, and I can also tell that this high-grade leatherette is also better. It doesn't get that hot as easily as the animal skin, but it's only when you pick a high quality of that. There are also bad leatherettes out there, definitely. So it's also a very interesting aspect here with the seat cooling or heating, definitely. It's also unique that we have this special form of the screen. It's not really needed, but it doesn't really hurt. What is crucial to me is they have this like this layer design, and then when you hit the brake and want to start, here some hotkeys appear, like the EU speed chime law thing. You can easily deactivate that it's beep 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 when you are like at 51 kilometers an hour, when it's 50 or something. And here you can also easily deactivate the lane keeping assist. So anything that might annoy you is really easily accessible in your line of sight, basically directly right here. So that's actually a cool thing. And then you have here, for example, the GPS. You can also click on it. They have yet full screen here. Could be a little bit quicker, maybe a little bit more responsive. Now it's a little bit more responsive. Yeah, but of course you can also, but actually the screen quality is really nice. Like when you touch it with your finger, it feels nice, just from the tactile experience. That's something new. So here GPS hotkey, then here this the full climate menu, where you can change everything, and interesting of course always the vehicle menu. Here like some quick access things, for example here also to control the panoramic vision, and then you can also configure it and you can pick your own widgets. So you can, for example, also delete everything and then everything will be clean. So when I go off this menu, then there we go. So if you are not the biggest fan of the panoramic vision, just leave it like this. Check the speed, and the rest is more, yeah, nothing. But then you can also say, hey, I want to have maybe like, I don't know, whether they are date and time, telephone something, acceleration position, wheel steering angle, air quality. Whatever you want to have there, you can put it on. So that's very easy to configure. And also interesting, the driving modes. You can set a personal driving mode, sport mode, efficient and silent. There's an animation for the sport mode, but only in the efficiency modus. Then there is less power output. Other than that, if you don't have to go to the sport mode to have the full power. When you pin down, you always have full power as well. And now, this is a special thing here now, because so far the personal or my mode, you could not configure that in a normal combustion engine BMW or also in the latest EV versions. Now you can, and I can go to personal, configure. So here then I go individual, setup, and then here, for example, I could go steering to sport, and when there would be the suspension later on, adaptive setting, I could go for that one to, like something like soft and so on. Or here also the recuperation setting, if I want little recuperation or maybe more like a high one pedal driving feeling or adaptive, I can all set it here. And it's also saved for next time. And that's actually quite good thing. So really listen to the customer feedback that they now offer that as well. If you want to switch to one pedal driving here from drive mode, pull backwards to B. And then, here we go, one more time from D to B. And then, there we go, is directly the hard recuperation. And you can see when I lift my foot off throttle, it goes to 0. By the way, here, this is when you have the CarPlay running.
Take a slight right turn.
And you have it on the map here, but in the panoramic vision, you have just basic arrows then when you have the next intersection and so on. Whereas with the car internal GPS, with this one, you also have extended guidance with intersections and so on in the panoramic vision. Quick preview from the automated parking feature here, left thumb. Press this button And then I have this view that is suggesting me some parking spots. But I want to park in front or next to this Cupra Formentor there. And let's see, when I turn here, this is the Formentor then in the screen. If the car is realizing that, there's a parking spot next to it. So just one on the right. And there it is. So there it's now. And then I can actually pick one. And I can decide if it's forward parking or reverse parking. Maybe reverse parking is the bigger challenge. So I hit it then here. And then...
Okay.
So the car here just wants forward parking here.
Because it's easier.
Yeah, it's easier probably. Let's go for it. So start. And then let's see how smooth it is. And also, sometimes in these automated parking features, you tend to get sick because the car is doing it too extreme. Let's see how smooth it's doing it. Here also
braking is good,
the green symbol, like in the highway assist. We'll soon also drive 130.
That would be my feature.
Yeah,
by the way,
the parking feature. Highway assist, 130 kilometers an hour.
Very
Soon
good,
to come. That's super
it's
smooth.
Yeah.
Super smooth. Yeah, I think the most special thing about this one,
that the braking is not
it was
that hard.
really
Yeah,
smooth.
Oh,
Yeah, that you're not like...
yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Then down here, inductive charging pad on the left is also ventilated. Only on the left for inductive charging. Right side, 2 USB-C chargers. I always prefer the cable charging, honestly, as well. Also better for the battery. And then here, adaptive cup holders, 3-way. That also keeps different sizes. And then here, this is how you put in the gears, drive and reverse. Or then here, the electric parking brake. This is a manual volume jog still. Good to have that one. You can also change it to steering wheel as well. Then here, also soft for your elbow. And that's also soft enough. And then you can open it. And here you also have a better interior build quality than with the combustion engine X3 on the inside here, honestly, because that's something where they have to fix more with the X3 plug-in hybrid and so on, and the petrol and the diesel. That's some things where you open stuff and it has to be better quality on the interior. Let's see, left elbow. Yeah. I think it could be a little bit softer here for the left elbow when you have your arms right here. And here you also have more fabric on the dashboard, for example. And here then in this case, all in the darker styling, so more drawn back. But no matter which version you go for, you have different color schemes available. And there's also additional storage here underneath the middle console. It's actually quite large. I mean, it's cozier here in the way in the upper part, but maybe like in the sit bone area here, this is where the comfort seat is has more seating depth, is a little bit softer. So both nice, but I think I'll be happy with both. But if I could freely configure, I would probably go with the comfort seats, although they look amazing here. Oh, here, this want to show you this top part here. So when I, let's say, go to seats and then there we go. And then I can put that lower and higher. And it will also be saved with your user account, actually, so that when you get into the vehicle and, for example, like it should be like also recognized on the smartphone app, that, for example, when Lias enters the vehicle, that the seat is then set to her position, and when I enter the vehicle, seat is set to my position. And here again, as a contrast, the other interior. So with the comfort seats, also with some colorful accentuations. I really like the bright interior we had in the initial studio episode. I would probably go for that one. Yeah, but you can pick the colors individually, of course, as you wish. And here again, the other seats and the steering wheel. You can see in the comparison, like the M Sport steering wheel is more roundish. And this one here is a little bit more flat in top and bottom. That's one of the other differences. But so many styles are available. I think everyone can find something he or she likes. Now to the rear seats. Here also everything soft. That's nice. Good structure, nice build quality. Only once again I would wish for fabric in the lower part. And these here, by the way, the door openers. So they are, let's say, they react electronically, but they are both physical at the same time, so to speak. And then here, the rear seating experience. ISOFIX covers are nicely done here. Look at that. You can lift it up like this then. So why not? Then you can also adjust the back part of the seat like this. Can make it in this cargo position or more upright or more laid back. Here, putting on these, also adaptive cup holders. And then you can also pull down the ski hatch. That would also be possible. And then about the legroom, there's really very good legroom available. Look at that. It's also way better than in the X3 combustion engine model. So they're really making use of that platform here. So yeah, it's really nice. I'll also soon take a look how it is in comparison to the sport seats, if it's the same or more or less, so we can remember that. Headroom here, I would say like to this side, there's still some left like this. So no problem. This again, the one with the fixed panoramic glass roof. There are no handles here, however. This is here like a jacket hanger, but you cannot like hold on tight or so on. However, the general comfort is really good here. So good experience. Also once again, because here these seats here, especially here in the sit bone area, are really plush and nice with this perforation. Feels great. And here with the M Sport seats, is actually, I would say, the same. I mean, the cutout is a little bit different, it's a little bit more open here. Yeah, but both offer similar kinds of legroom. Although the form is kind of different, it's maybe like, yeah, back and forth how the cutout is, but yeah, both offer good legroom, definitely. Now to the trunk or the boot, which is at 520 liters, electric hatch. Let's open it. And here, this is a massive cover here for the boot. And it's really interesting. Let me show that to you because it holds a secret surprise. So first of all, you think, wow, this really excellent build quality. Rarely have seen such a massive cover here. It's really good because it closes off everything, so it will be good against noise, actually from the outside while driving. And then you might think, well, when it's so heavy, I cannot store it anywhere in the trunk. And I was thinking the very same. But actually, I found out, yeah, something very surprising. So when you lift up this one here, not this way, but if you turn it around, like flip it like this, then surprisingly, it really fits underneath. Wow, that is interesting. Didn't know about that yet, just found out. And then here, the width here is actually quite amazing because here we are now like 1.10 m, you know, or like 43 inches. It's a little bit more narrow than here, but it's overall quite good. This one also fits underneath the cover, as you have seen. Then the normal length is here at 1.40 meters and the maximum height at 28 inches or 70 centimeters. And then here the total length to the seats as we would be driving. This is here at 1.83 meters or 72 inches. So indeed very well usable, and yeah, good thought behind that one as well. And there's also an adaptive towing hook available right here. There we go. All electric indeed. And towing capacity is at 2 tons. Let's start driving the BMW iX3. This will be huge, and I want to start with this one here, like a huge speed hump. And now watch the vehicle. It's straight. And there was something that I was like realizing when we did the first pre-drive of this vehicle a couple of months ago. It's astonishing, like when you go on these humps up and down, and usually many cars like wobble or shake after that. There's another one coming. But when you go down this one again, the car is so quickly straight again, but without that the suspension is super stiff or something like that. Here, so that's it. And it's also comfortable for the passenger, you know, that is really astonishing. And remember, there's the base suspension here. Yes, the base suspension already has a hydraulic cushion. Later on, adaptive suspension available, but this one is, let's say, passively adaptive. And then later the adaptive suspension, which also according to the driving mode switches then. But this one is already doing a good job. We do have the 21-inch wheels here, so you could even go one smaller if you want even a little bit more comfort. That would be possible. But here, and also once again, the hump is not is crazy. It's crazy, really, right? Crazy, yeah. And usually we have that kind of comfort with really like elaborated adaptive suspensions, air suspension. Yeah, the GLC air suspension, for example. So I usually always say, for example, when you order like X3 combustion engine or plug-in hybrid, diesel, and so on, always go for the adaptive suspension. But here, I can really say if you all want to order right now without the adaptive suspension being available, it's perfectly fine. This is really an astonishing thing to do. What we can already switch here is the steering response here in the driving modes. There we go. So sport, I have a little bit more feedback from that steering, you know. So it's still light, yeah, but in a comfort mode, it's more lighter. So this is why I would go for the individual setup to pick the steering to sport, more feedback. Leah would probably say, you know, whatever. I like it when it's like soft steering. And also here you can change between low and high recuperation. Let's see if there is like a true one pedal driving, if it like really comes to a stop. It doesn't seem like that. No, keeps rolling, but there is strong recuperation. If you want to switch to one pedal driving here from drive mode, pull backwards to B. Adaptive would also be possible. In that case, it depends if there's a car in front of you or not, for example. That's a very interesting finding. And another thing now with the panoramic vision and the head-up display. So at this moment, I have the internal GPS set. And here I'm showing you something, or maybe I leave that way. And I don't need to have this one here because I also have the GPS there in my line of sight and also in the head-up display. So this is now...
You can't miss the exit.
This is now absolute GPS overkill. 1, 2, 3. I see lines and arrows all over the place saying like, Thomas, you will turn at the next intersection. So yeah, funny thing to have that one. Yeah, but the cool thing is here is always short focus. But when I look at it at the panoramic vision or in the head-up display, it's still long focus. And now some motorway acceleration. Let's see, 40 to 120. Let's go. Okay. Crazy. Crazy. That was 40 to 120. That's crazy. I mean, this is the 50 version. Let's say the normal overdrive version. 4.9 seconds is the acceleration figure, but that felt even quicker. It really even got the Leah meter going. Wow, that is, yeah, really powerful. So I can tell you, even the rear-wheel drive entry-level version will be more than enough. And I mean, if they want to do an iX3M, like, why? This will be absolutely crazy then. Yeah, and here the motorway. So now let's put some 120 kilometers an hour, 70 miles an hour, like that. And the only thing you hear, obviously not good weather here, sadly at the moment, but it's a good test how silent it is. And the only thing you do here is raindrops on the front windshield. There is no significant wind noise somewhere around us. We don't have laminated windows here still. It's very silent. And the interesting thing is here, I always call it like a sovereign ride, like a very sophisticated ride. Yeah, like this. There's the part Italian in me. There's Greens or Italian friends, mille grazie. And the thing is really that it stays really upright. Also when you do some quicker lane changes, for example, like this, it doesn't shake at all. And it almost feels like Coldplay song. It always feels like you have like an anti-tilt control, or maybe like this hydraulic pump system they have now at Porsche or NIO or something like that. But it is still the non-actively adaptive suspension. It's a base suspension, and the car is always upright. And this might also be one thing if you compare it to the X3 combustion engine, which I feel, or Leah has actually said that earlier, has sometimes more booming noise when you're driving over some uneven parts. And this one, it kind of feels like a even more premium experience in the driving. Yes, it's heavier. That might have an effect on really like tight corners when you push it, but when do you do that with an SUV? But when you, for example, would go from a BMW 7 Series and then switch to this one, you have like a similar feeling in the way of that this one here feels like you're driving a grown-up, long wheelbase luxury sedan in how the body movement is calm. That's a very interesting thing. So rarely did we have a car which was so calm in the body movement. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Steering I've set to sport, as I said, to get a little more feedback. That's more likable. And you see here, I always keep it 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So times for this year. Yo, what's up, guys? This is over. Everyone will drive this car here then like this. And that's maybe also a good safety thing, right? I think, I mean, yeah, we do have like the raindrops on the one front windshield, but other than that, it's still silent. Look at that, this car is passing us now. And usually it is extremely loud when you do that in rainy conditions, but it's actually not here. So very sophisticated ride. I could also imagine driving a longer trip now. We're driving first the comfort seats. Later on, we'll make a hop to the sport seats again, to the other model. Because the one thing is, how does it feel like when you're stationary, but how does it then feel like when you're driving? So it might be that, for example, stationary say these are comfortable, but then I say while driving the sport seats are comfortable. Got to see about that, you know. So that's very, very interesting.
What about the highway assist?
Oh yes,
Maybe
yes,
that's a good
yes.
point, yeah.
The highway assist. So one press of a button and it's already done. Now also confirms here with the. Let's see. Does it offer that I can take the hands off the steering wheel because the green now. So confirm. There we go. Because that's allowed now across Europe and even up to a speed of 130 kilometers an hour. It's still level 2 system. So you're still responsible yourself in case. But it's also a very relaxing thing. And now the special thing comes that they have tuned these assistance systems to also like another level of sophistication. Now I think now it was quickly offering me like a lane change. Let's see if I can induce it one more time. No. There we go. So I was watching into the mirror and then automatic lane change and how smooth the system is. Now here also in the corner. And the thing is that Leah usually tells me with every vehicle, stop doing that, drive yourself.
When you close your eyes, it's fine.
Yeah, the thing is, when Leah closes her eyes now, she could not tell if I'm driving or if the car is driving, and we never had that before.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That is really crazy. Because everything is done so smooth. We did some tests also, like like in traffic when it was really slow, and when the car is accelerating or braking, and you close your eyes, you cannot tell when the car is starting the acceleration or stopping to the like still stand. It's crazy. Because usually, like with these ACC systems, they tend to be like too aggressive and then like accelerate too hard. But this is so smooth, I can't believe it. Wow. And I just have to stress one more time. BMW has not paid me a single cent ever to say anything.
Yes.
So we did spend some criticism on certain things here earlier, yes. And we do that on more things, definitely. But when I say that this is the best assistance systems calibration we have ever experienced, it's just fact, it's true. I say that voluntarily, and I have comparisons from thousands of vehicles, and it's just true. Maybe others will catch up, but this is here, in Germany we say, großes Kino, like big cinema. This is big cinema. Yeah, pretty cool, man. Wow, kudos to that. And first efficiency test result. We've been driving now mainly motorway and to the motorway and back again. We evened out the topography and we drove mainly like 100, 120 kilometers an hour. But the average speed is of course always lower because maybe like you drive to the motorway and drive it maybe like with 20 or 30. Then the average speed always goes down to about 70 kilometers an hour. Rainy conditions. Not too cold, but also not too warm here in the evening. And so far the result here was around 18 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. That would mean here for the big battery, a real world range for this condition then of around 600 kilometers or 370 miles. And that is close to the EPA, to the Northern American standard for the driving cycle. Already a very decent result that you can get a good range out of this car. We will test more conditions. Now we switch to the M Sport Pro vehicle with the sport seat, and here some more bumps because we really have to talk about this. Here. I can accelerate off this speed bump and it feels like nothing. And the crazy thing is, yes, it's a base suspension. The only thing that they have here is it has a hydraulic cushion basically at the end of the damper. And this is making the magic together with all the engineering experience of the suspension guys. And it really feels like you have an active hydraulic pump at each wheel and so on. And here you can almost raise the speed bumps, and then it's perfectly comfortable also for the passengers. That is the really amazing thing about this vehicle. Honestly, guys, it is the best normal suspension of a vehicle I have ever tested. By far, it's absolutely insane. It's not an active adaptive suspension. There's no air suspension. We do not have a hydraulic system. There's no active anti-tilt control whatsoever. And this is absolutely crazy what this suspension does. So I've never seen something like that. So yeah, you'll be absolutely fine with the base suspension here. And although it doesn't have any special, super complicated technologies, it is actually better than most other suspensions that even have these special technologies. And they did this intentionally because they said they could have added more technologies and also go higher in the price, but they wanted to keep weight a little bit lower, also make the car less complicated, because the more parts you add, the more complicated suspension systems, the more parts are prone to failure. And so they wanted to keep it a little bit more simple, especially in the suspension technology. It just works. It's yeah, this is one of the most astonishing things of this vehicle here. Now let's drive a little bit more dynamic, still in the M Sport Pro vehicle with the M Sport seat. And gotta say, of course, when you have some like fierce bumps in the road, then it's still better to go with 20-inch wheels. So definitely gonna note that. But once again, also here in the dynamics left and right, the car really stays straight all the time. That's the cool thing. Also, for example, when I force it here into slalom, wow, it feels like a way smaller car actually. So that's pretty cool. The sport seat here, by the way, it does keep me tight here in the upper area. That's comfortable, especially while dynamic driving. And also the rest of the seat is quite comfortable. Just again, this sit bone area thing, that is more comfortable with the comfort seat. So yeah, I'm thinking back and forth with these seats, but probably would end up with a comfort seat, I think. And there you can also put the bolsters a little bit, tighter. That's also possible. Yeah, especially when we hear like these waves in the road, and usually most other vehicles would wobble up significantly, but this one here just does not, and that is a very astonishing thing. So much fun. Woo! Yeah, also so much water on the road here today. So unusual rainy days here in the Malaga region, which is usually a very dry region in Spain. But it's so much fun to drive this here around. And remember, you have a huge battery here in this vehicle. And that means there's also, once again, significant weight. But one more time, astonishing that although it's so heavy, it is so much fun to drive also in an agile way. And this is also what differentiates this one here, this driving experience, to, for example, the new Chinese competitors, which make great interior build quality and come with so many features in standard equipment, really put pressure to the market and sell it at very attractive prices. But the driving is, at least when you're interested in that, something where there's still like a big difference here, especially to the BMW iX3. The thing is, of course, not everyone cares about driving so much. And when you make, like maybe in your country, mainly stuck in traffic and don't drive agile, don't drive fast, and maybe say like, I don't care. But for everyone who still cares about driving, or is maybe afraid that an electric vehicle drives worse than the combustion engine type, I can say this one here actually drives better. It's definitely one of the best driving EVs or SUVs overall, and that's something to accomplish. And another efficiency test, we just did motorway only and drove 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, or 120, like 70 miles an hour. So really kept it on the motorway, and also did this, like equalization of the topography, so back and forth. And really could hold this average. And then we scored here in the, again, rainy conditions, sometimes really heavy rain. The wheels, have to move it. And these were also 21-inch wheels, still same size, but not the aero wheels. And here then, between 20 and 21 kilowatt hours on 1 kilometer, so it's 3 miles per kilowatt hour, would mean a real world range then here in these cases then for 520 kilometers or about 320 miles. As for pricing, super interesting. We do expect a lower entry-level version, smaller battery, rear-wheel drive, which will start about 60,000 euros. At this moment, the big battery, which is the probably most desirable one for the range and so on, will start at around 70,000 euros. And once again, this is a very good price battery size relation, and have to think about what else is already standard equipment in this vehicle actually, so that's actually pretty good. And then if you put some specs in the vehicle, you can get a well-specced iX3 for around 80,000 euros, and that is almost the same basically like an X3 fully specced plug-in hybrid. And in some configurations this is even a little bit cheaper, but then again the X3 plug-in hybrid you can, for example, also get with cool seats and adaptive suspension already, so yeah, you have to check the equipment. But the main message is it is not more expensive, in some cases maybe even a little advantage, plus in a lot of countries also tax benefits. You can also make it a little bit more expensive, maybe to 87 or something. And then the cars, as they stand here, they are both very well equipped. They are both almost the same price, both at 85,000 euros. So yeah, I think once again, it is still a premium segment. It's not a cheap car at all, you know, it's a BMW. But considering for what you get, I think it is very well priced. And so far, does it work? Yes. So from the first orders and so on, BMW has already received more orders than they expected themselves. So far the strategy actually is correct, and we'll of course keep you updated with that. What a super interesting review and what an interesting ride here for you today. I think from the exterior, I personally think it works very well. I could live without these wide lines here. That's maybe my only design criticism. I think the new retro front double kidney looks cool. I think even better in the non-pro package, so that it's not darkened out right here. Interior works very well, spacious enough, is high quality in the interior, so they learned from some mistakes they recently did with the X3 combustion engine. The X3 ICE is also a very good car, but there were some shortcomings on the interior build quality, so they did that better here now. They have extremely comfortable seats, segment, if not industry leading, also leading in the quality of animal-free materials, where they really also convinced critical voices. Just test it out. They will convince you, indeed, from the material quality of these animal-free materials. They're really good. And both seats, the normal comfort seat and also the M Sport seats, they are really very good. Driving, a lot of surprises. What are the pros and what are the cons? So really unique is the suspension. Never before did we drive a base suspension that was that good. It's comfortable and sporty at the same time. And it's incredible how they can keep the car in balance without any elaborated adaptive suspension technology. That is one of the most crucial things. I could almost sometimes not believe when we were driving over a wave and suddenly the car was like straight again. That was something really astonishing they achieved here with these hydraulic cushions and also with the engineering experience of the suspension guys. And also the second thing that was really remarkable, the assistance systems, how they are integrated in the vehicle and how everything is so smooth. The automated parking and also the highway pilot, where you can drive up to 130 kilometers an hour now hands-free, still responsible yourself, but so smooth. And you know, and just doing the lane changes with looking in the mirror and the braking and the acceleration and so on, everything is so smooth that you can really trust the system and you're not getting sick from the system and so on. It's really the smoothest application of assistance systems I've ever seen actually. So indeed, you can say, yes, Germany, the German automotive industry, here in the form of BMW, is leading the way again in a lot of different aspects. This is one of the best EVs out there, no doubt. What should be better, or where, in which field would I have hoped something even more? The efficiency, so the consumption. Yes, it was quite rainy here today, but I also had some tests now where the motorway was a little bit drier and there was not much difference, so to speak. So the consumption on the motorway, it will still be fine for most purposes, and it's still an SUV, you know, so for an SUV there's still a good result overall, but I would have hoped that it's even more efficient, and so you can calculate with a motorway range of something a little bit over 500 kilometers or 300 miles. There won't be many competitors in this segment here as an SUV which do it better. But still, I would have hoped that this one maybe is like another breakthrough. But in that case, efficiency, it's not that kind of a breakthrough I would have hoped for. But overall, as I said, definitely one of the best EV or SUV or overall SUV picks at the moment on the market. And it will be very exciting to soon also drive the Mercedes GLC EQ. We already checked it out in a static way. And of course, there are even more other electric vehicles you might also consider.